all right, I have to remember to mute this because it always yells in my ear and it makes me crazy.
What, when you can hear what we said 5 seconds ago replaying on the screen?
It's totally insane.
It absolutely, like, it shuts your brain down.
But the thing about the YouTube Live is, like, they're already seeing us. Isn't that crazy to even think about?
Yeah, but
they already know
who's
we're
they?
Here. I don't know. Who is they?
Yeah.
They is the safe word.
Yeah. Okay, we're on mute.
Beautiful.
Yay. All right.
Okay.
Here we go.
Where can we see if there are people we want? Like, sometimes we want to like check and see, like, are there actually people on?
I don't know how to do that when it's on Zoom, to be honest. I actually
How did we do it before?
We were just on
We were just on the YouTube.
Live.
The YouTubes.
The YouTubes.
The
yes.
YouTubes.
All right. Hi, YouTube Live. You could see us tinkering and, you know, we're above the age of 30, so it just takes us a little time to figure out how to use
It's a computer. Like, that's, what? I didn't have, I mean.
Can you come in closer?
What do you want me to do?
So
you want me to be closer to you?
Yeah, I just want you to be with me.
Yeah, I didn't have a computer until I was, like, in high school, I guess.
Did you ever tell people, like, meet me at the mall?
Of
and
course.
Like, not go?
No, you have to go because there's no way to tell somebody that you're not coming. I guess you could beep them.
No, I'd be in a chat room and I would be like...
Oh, a chat. Oh, that's different.
Meeting like random strangers that were probably like men.
No,
like
I totally was talking to an adult man one time. I mean, now that I think about how gross it was.
Yeah, it's gross.
And I was upset that I was talking to him for hours and then he told me he had a girlfriend and I was like devastated. Well, I was like, but I thought this was really going to be it. He was probably like 40. Like, who
you
the
were
fuck
a
knows?
whore then, and you're a whore now.
Thank you.
Shall we begin?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it. Welcome to Fuck You, I'm Smarter, the comedy game show where we compete with the guests to be crowned the smartest person in the room. Zoom, YouTube, Live.
Oh, you've added on.
I've added
it. Now, it was just the room. Now it's the room Zoom. Then it's
the
room Zoom, YouTube Live. Yeah, I like it.
Kelly had a healing today.
I had a healing session.
And I don't mean to brag, but...
Oh, you are bragging. Lindsey was envisioned by my healer. Well, she didn't call you by name. She just said you had big, beautiful eyes and eyelashes, and she was an important woman in my life who was kind of annoying, but that I needed to trust her.
Oh, I love that, because I am
She didn't say you were kind of annoying. I added that.
But she said you might feel pressure sometimes, like in the way that I am with you.
Yeah, because you're annoying.
Let us not forget that I got this apartment dick ready and you still didn't sign up for the dating apps, and I left you alone about it. I left you alone.
I'm not doing it right now. I talked about it with my healer, okay? We're not doing it right now.
It's okay.
I'm not ready. She's not ready.
She's not ready. Well, Kelly, happy Pride Month.
Thank you.
If you're not getting dick this month, there are a lot of people that are.
I hope so. Yeah. I hope our guest is.
I hope our guest is too. I guess we'll get into it.
Okay.
So I was telling this guest before we signed on that I saw him perform so many years ago.
And apparently I did too.
I think
I forgot about it. I think you were probably wasted. Yeah.
And a gay bar named Therapy, which my neighbor, we could talk about this too, actually. My neighbor, remember they used to kill my rats and my mice
love
in New York?
Him. Oh,
he worked at Therapy. I think that's why I went, actually.
Huh. Wait, what was his
Paolo.
Paolo.
Yes. So, I know, we have to talk about it. I totally forgot about this connection.
Have you ever seen him stomp on a mouse?
I have, many times.
There was a mouse on a glue trap.
Yes.
He put it in a paper bag, and he stomped on it real quick. He's like, done. What did he say?
Wonder Woman's here, and then he stepped on a mouse. And we were
then he left.
And then we were like, we gotta go, we gotta get out of the house, we gotta get out of the house.
He was your savior.
I'm really excited to hang with this lovely actor, writer, comedian. It's been many months since we've seen him perform, and I'm so excited to play with him. Ladies and gents, Brad Loekle.
Hi, everybody. Woo! Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah. Shoulder shimmy.
I can't believe you know Paolo. I know Paolo very well. I mean, Paolo worked at Therapy practically since it opened. So, I mean,
I know.
he was an
I
institution
knew
in Hell's Kitchen.
Paco.
Ugh, I love it.
I knew the dog Paco.
Aww.
I know. God bless. Rest
Was that
in
his
peace.
dog?
Yes, the sweetest
Aw.
little nugget. So
It's a good
I
dog
lived
name.
in that apartment for about 10 years.
Wow.
No, I lived in that apartment for about 7 years. And he was my next door neighbor for a little while. Then I moved downstairs, but we lived in the same building for years. I still have that apartment. He has since gotten rid of the apartment because he moved to Miami, but I still have that apartment.
Oh my God.
God.
Well, because when you have an apartment
No.
in New York City that you can cling to, you just,
Yeah.
you cling,
I'm like-
I mean,
You cling for dear life as long as you
you'd
can.
give up a baby. You would be like, I can make another baby.
I would.
I can't get another
I
apartment
would give
like
up 100%.
that.
But I can't wait to chat with you. How are you? How are you doing over there?
I'm great. No, I'm really good, actually.
Ooh.
I'm really good. I'm excited that June 15th is around the corner, so Los Angeles
Yes.
will go insane
I know.
and rage, and just people will be
Yes.
naked in the streets
Yes.
again. And the world's opening up again, so I'm getting ready to go back on tour and do
Yeah.
fun
Oh,
projects and
great.
do stuff like that. Yeah,
Oh.
so it's been a hell of a
Love it.
15 months, but
Ugh.
you know, my dogs are
Woo.
going to be very confused because they think I live
About
there.
the
No.
outside and
Yeah,
like more
they just-
movement
yeah.
and like new cities and
They were used to me being gone like 25 weeks a year. And now they've just very much
Wow.
settled into
Yeah.
like, you never leave the house. So I think they're going to think
Yeah.
I'm dead, but the food
Right.
will keep coming. So they'll stay around.
Yes,
They'll
yeah.
figure it
Just
out.
keep
They'll be
feeding
fine.
Just
them
like a
and
boyfriend.
Hang out with friends.
If you leave
Yes,
food in the
I
fridge
love
for a
it.
boyfriend, he'll stay there until you get back. It's when he runs out of
That's
food.
actually
that's
true.
a good point.
Yeah,
That's
very
a really
true.
good point.
Very true.
Well, you are dear friends with Sharon Houston, who is
Yeah.
friends of Fuck You, I'm Smarter.
Friend of the show.
friend
of
of
the
the
pod.
show and the pod, and helped us actually
Start it.
So if
Mhm.
anyone is looking for podcast help, she is
Oh, yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah, she has her pod class.
And you moved
Yeah,
here
she's
from
great.
New York.
I did.
She's the best. And you said you've been here now. How long have you been here?
8 years. April was 8 years in Los Angeles. I moved here at
I love
35 years old, doughy, bald, and gay, which is exactly what you
Yes.
should do in Hollywood. You want to,
100%.
you really want to move here right in the sweet spot of your middle age.
I love it. We moved here about 7 years ago.
Yeah,
as well.
I mean,
Okay,
we
so
were
God,
like-
almost
I
the same
was-
time.
Yeah.
Like I was 32.
I was 30 when I moved here.
-ish.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I was 35, so say we all
Yeah,
made the
similar,
same
yeah.
great choice together.
We all made the same mistakes. Yeah. and I
Where-
stand by it.
Where are you from originally?
Listen, that pandemic happened, and I was like, if I was still stuck in that apartment in Washington
Oh,
Heights,
same.
I would have burned Manhattan to the ground.
I know.
Absolutely.
I know.
I
had the same thought. I was like, I am
Oh.
so glad
lucky.
I'm not still there. That
Like, I
was
never did a
driving me
COVID
insane.
winter. And so I just am like so thankful that like
So
the sun's always out.
Griffith
Yeah.
Park is my best
Yeah.
friend.
Yeah.
Oh, I
yeah,
think I
'cause-
would have. I could see like really spiraling into a very
Oh.
dark
100%.
place, a very dark place. I think
Yeah.
I
And
would
I was in a third
No, we
floor
got
walk up,
lucky.
so I could have jumped and died.
Me too.
I could have absolutely
too.
or starved to death because I'm so fucking lazy that I to this day I can't. I don't understand how I ever had groceries, and I always did in New York because I moved here and I just stopped moving altogether. Like I don't physically move
Well-
at all.
You don't need to.
No,
I
There
have
was a-
now, because of the pandemic, I now am a person who has their groceries delivered. I was not
Oh,
that person.
I'm never
And
going
now
back.
I am
I'm
that
never going
I'm
back.
person.
never
I
going
don't.
back. I'm never
No.
going back.
There was a day in the middle of the pandemic where, according to my phone, I walked 37 steps. And that's harder
That's
than
beautiful.
10,000, by the way. That's actually more
That's
difficult to do.
It's harder to do that. It's harder
Because
to
I
do
ate
less.
5
Yeah.
times that day and had to go to the bathroom.
Wow.
So still 37 steps.
You were very economical with your movement.
I was in a
That's
competition
amazing.
I wasn't aware I was in, but I won.
Right, but you
You were like, I did it. I
Yeah, I
actually
did it,
beat
guys.
everybody.
Keep it under 50.
Did it, done.
Keep it under 50.
In Incredible.
Wait, so where are you from originally? Are you from New York, or where?
I'm from the Hudson Valley of New York, so I'm from about 90 minutes north of Manhattan, which is a very different world than Manhattan. Yeah, so
very
close.
Different, but close.
Yeah,
enough
very.
That you could be there often,
yeah.
I'm sure.
It was very never went back. No, I mean.
Oh no, I mean, when you were growing up, you probably went into the city a lot.
No, my parents were not city people. I used to cut school. Once I had a driver's license, I would cut school and drive to a train station in New Jersey where I knew no one would recognize my car, and then get on the train to go to Manhattan to cut school to go down to Christopher Street. But I was such a jerk. Like, I wouldn't even, like, I'd go to the Christopher Street Pier and hang out with, like, the gay hookers and stuff and, like, a little bit of, like, the street scene. But what I was really also doing was I would take my money from my part-time job and go to the Oscar Wilde bookstore and buy books about gay history and gay life or gay, because there was just this was, like, pre-internet. So I was like, I know we exist. I know I'm not the only one, and I know there has to be something about us other than AIDS. Because at that point, that was all you saw on TV was AIDS. So I literally was like, I was the only kid who like cut school to basically go to the library.
Cut school to go to school, like
to
take yourself
to basically be like, I'm just going to go to a different school. So I was I was a badass nerd.
Yeah, I consider myself the same type of nerd, a badass one. For sure.
I didn't read a lot. I only read when people told me I had to.
Yeah.
Did your healer bring that up too? Did your healer say?
Yeah, she said she's really uneducated.
Beautiful eyes,
but she's
slightly
a good person.
Slightly illiterate.
Yeah.
But lovely eyes.
Lovely
eyes.
Yeah, beautiful eyes, nothing going on.
Yeah, nothing. Beautiful eyes, nothing going on behind them. Going in two different directions. Exactly. But when you get them in focus,
eyes.
If you put headlights in front of her, she's gorgeous. Gorgeous eyes.
Gorgeous.
When I moved here, so you said when you moved here you stopped moving. When I moved here, I stopped reading because in New York,
that's fair,
I would read like a book a week. I would read a book a week on the train. I was like,
right.
No,
the train. That's true. Yeah. That's true.
Now I'm like, forget it. And audiobooks, like, it's not the same muscles. It's not the same.
I can't do audiobooks.
Yeah. Unless it's someone, the only person I can do is if it's Toni Morrison reading her own book. Because, like, if it's someone whose voice is so magnificent, like that, it sounds like a song to begin with. Yes. But if it's just going to be like somebody reading to me, I'm not. No, I don't need Jeff Goldblum reading me Stephen Hawking's Meaning of the Universe. No, thank you.
That actually would be really.
That actually would be entertaining because he'd probably just go off on his own diatribes. He'd be like, "What does this even mean? I don't understand what's going on."
Start playing jazz and be like, did he die?
Start flirting with you in an almost consensual way over the audiobook.
100%.
Definitely.
But reading is not mandatory.
Why do I feel so violated? It's just a voice.
We saw him at a
Why am I getting undressed to this audiobook?
He performed at this music festival that we went to in the before times, and he started doing Jurassic Park trivia, and I was like, this is the greatest moment of my life.
It was really
That's wonderful. That's great.
Wonderful.
The greatest moment when I first moved here, a dear friend of mine, Aaron Elvis, who's an amazing DJ, took me to when when movie theaters were a thing and ArcLight still existed. They would do the thing once a year where they would bring in the stars of like some of your favorite films from years past, and they would do a Q&A before the film. So we got to go see Steel Magnolias with Sally Field and Shirley MacLaine. And it was Shirley MacLaine's birthday, and they hadn't seen each other in about 10 years. And the whole room was gay. And this was the week I moved here. And I now live with a dear friend who was there that night, and we didn't know each other yet. I've met like 50 gay men who, if we talk long enough, we figure out that we were all there that night, but I just didn't know anyone yet.
It's the common denominator.
Yeah, literally. It was, you had the option to be in a room with Sally Field and Shirley MacLaine bitching about the director from Steel Magnolias and then watch it on.
Oh, amazing.
It was great.
Amazing.
It was the best. It honestly was. I was like, I peaked the first week I got here. I was like, I should just move.
Yes.
You can't really get much better than that, honestly.
Yeah.
Brad, when you were younger, did you know you wanted to be a performer?
I definitely knew I wanted to be a performer. So the first time I ever got on a stage was first grade. and they were doing like some kind of school play-ish. I guess it was kind of a truncated Peter Pan story. And I remember they made me the narrator because I was the best reader, and the teacher thought I could memorize all my lines, and she had to write out all your lines on that big paper, that has the dotted in between. And mine was like mine was like 8 pages, and everyone else's was like 1 page. And we had a time where we had to memorize it, and I literally read it like 3 times and walked over and said, "I'm ready." And she went, "What?" And I went, and I literally just recited it back in full performance in the room. And she was just. And on my first grade report card, she, other than saying Brad has trouble with nap time and it disturbs other children during nap time, which is still the case. She said, "I fully expect to see the name Brad Loekle," and she wrote my name in block letters and she did put stars all the way around it, like it was a marquee. So it literally is like, even like adults when I was little were like, "You're a creepy adult child who's probably going to be in show
amazing.
business." Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And the fact that you, like, we talk about this on the show a lot, that one teacher, like, you don't forget that. Like,
the one teacher that
the
believed in you and like saw something in you.
I'm still friends with a couple teachers I'm friends with my second grade teacher still, and I'm friends with my high school drama teacher, of course, because she's a huge fruit fly. And was basically like my very dramatic soap opera mom in high school, where we would I was the star in half of the shows, and then then we'd have fights at rehearsal, and I was mad at her, and I would call her Beth, her real name, and people would be scandalized.
Scandalous.
I love Beth.
I'd be like, "Beth, calm down."
Oh my gosh, I wish we were in like Bye Bye Birdie together when we were younger, I feel like we could have really done some magic on stage.
We still can.
Somewhere there's a Pasadena playhouse waiting for our town together.
Yes, I think so.
Exactly.
But just the 3 of us, and we'll play
all the
characters.
All the roles. Yeah. All the roles.
Yeah.
I want to be the ghost. Okay.
Should we get started?
Yeah, let's get into it. So, are you ready?
Are you ready to go to school?
Sure.
So, in our little notes, you had mentioned that your mom is a CPA.
Yes.
And you said that one of your least favorite subjects was math. And,
correct. Pulled a solid C- to D+ in math consistently.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, here on the show, we hate math.
Good job.
We really
we don't like it.
We
notoriously do not like doing math.
We do it sometimes.
We do it sometimes just because we feel like you have to
do it,
but we hate it.
So I was not in the mood for math this week.
Don't blame you. Not a good week for math.
Instead of doing a math class, we're gonna do a tax class.
I hate you.
Oh, okay.
We're going to learn about taxes, okay? But I tried to make it fun.
She does talk to me about her job a lot over the years, so hopefully.
Well, I don't think I don't know if this will help.
Oh, God.
We'll see. we'll really see, won't we? So we're going to play a game that I called Hot Tax Take. Ooh. All right. So we're going to go back and forth.
Okay.
We'll start with our guest, Brad, and just 1 point for each question.
Okay.
Super simple. All right. So
no points for me.
So, Brad, here we go. We can trace documented records of taxation all the way back to ancient Egypt. Can you believe that?
I do. Sometime
between 3000 and 2800 BCE. Apparently, there was a biennial event called the Following of Horus. I like that name.
So juvenile.
The Following of Horus.
Wasn't the god you're thinking of. Wasn't Horus.
No.
Didn't cover that. Horus was a different kind of god.
Yeah, different.
Exactly. When the pharaoh went around collecting taxes in his dual roles as head of state and living incarnation of the god Horus. Okay, here's the question. The god Horus is depicted as a falcon wearing a crown with a cobra on it, B, a mummified god wearing wrappings that left only green skin of his hands and face exposed, or C, a canine or a man with a canine.
C, a canine.
That is incorrect. Kelly,
Oh,
did
no.
you try to steal?
It's the falcon.
It is the falcon!
Oh, shit. Which is the canine?
Incidentally,
I wrote it down.
I was so confident.
It's Anpu, A-N-P-U, the god of death and mummification.
Oh, well, that's probably
That's
why I
the
remember
canine.
it.
incidentally, my healer today
What?
told me that I have a falcon in my crown chakra.
What?
Yes!
You are a Horus!
It's one of my spirit animals.
You are a Horus.
One. How many do you get?
I have a porcupine in my heart.
So the more sessions you pay her for, the more spirit animals you're allowed to have. I'm sensing speaking of taxation, I'm noticing a financial pattern here.
No, she's actually fucking
If you buy the
amazing.
deluxe package, you get a manatee.
How many?
We're from Florida.
We love manatees.
I'm actually on
Um,
Fire Island, in the gay community of Fire Island. I'm known as the Fire Island manatee. That was my
Ooh.
Get
nickname
out of here.
when I worked
I
out
like
there.
that.
I love
That's
Fire
cute.
Island, by the way. Love Fire Island.
Good
You know,
time.
I
Got a
never
lot
went.
of.
You never took me there.
I only went once with my ex-boyfriend. We were the only straight people there.
Which
but
one?
We stayed in
Who'd you go
Cherry
with?
Grove. I went with Micah.
Where-
It was
oh,
so
that's
You could have
right.
taken me.
I ran a weekly show in Cherry Grove with Ariel Sinclair, Portia, the drag queen. I literally I spent 10 years producing shows in Cherry Grove too. Have you
I-
secretly been stalking me for the last 20 years?
think-
What's going on?
she has, yeah.
we stayed in this really cute boutique little like inn, and there was a lesbian couple, like a family, staying in the same place as us, and it was kind of
Oh, so
like
probably
4 rooms.
Sandpiper, because there's only the.
That sounds familiar.
Yep.
Yeah. And one of the women looked at us and said, "Don't tell any of your friends about this place." And I was like, "We won't. We won't."
I love
Because
that.
I didn't know how great. I just went because it
Right.
was close and I
Right.
wanted to be near a beach. And I was like, I will never tell anyone about
I
this
love
place.
it.
Gay
was
Gilligan's Island.
best.
Yeah, let her and her wife have it.
I wanted them
You
to
know what
have
I
it
mean?
so bad.
We let the straight Long Island boys come over on the ferry, and then it's always interesting to see which of them missed the last
one's
ferry
John's?
because they lost track of
and
time,
have to stay
and now they need a place
overnight.
to stay.
I love it.
Mhm.
Got a lot of
I
social
love
diseases that
Strong
way.
air quotes going on.
Yeah.
Got a
Yeah.
lot of what?
Social
What'd you say?
diseases that way. Got a lot of social diseases that way.
Social
Mhm.
diseases.
You always get them from those Jersey boys, don't you?
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Bayshore boys.
They nasty.
All right, Kelly.
Yes.
The first taxes implemented in the United States caused a rebellion.
Of course.
The rebellion was called the Blank Rebellion and was largely due to the attacks that Alexander Hamilton imposed on Blank. So it was the Blank Rebellion, attacks imposed on Blank.
Huh?
Was it A, whiskey, B, corn, or C, hemp?
Oh.
Alexander Hamilton.
Whiskey.
Yes!
Yeah?
Kelly.
Ooh.
Look at
But
you.
you should know she's only gotten 3 points for the last 10 episodes. So this is big. She already
And
has
I already
2.
have 2.
I'm like, wow. Okay.
It's because I was healed today.
Right, right.
everything's better now.
Uh-huh.
You have a chocolate
All
cheat
right.
sheet going on somewhere inside of
Uh-huh.
you now.
She totally
Exactly.
She channeled that falcon through my computer. I mean, that's insane.
That's pretty wild.
All right, Brad, we can thank Abraham Lincoln for having a federal income tax. He signed the Revenue Act in 1861, which imposed the first ever federal income tax. It was to drum up funds for the Civil War. The Congress enacted a modest 3% tax on the income over $800, which today would be about $23,000. In 1913,
It's not a lot.
the Blank Amendment established the federal income tax system that we know today. So, is it the Third Amendment? B, the 16th Amendment, or C, the 23rd Amendment, which is all about taxes and our federal income tax system we know today.
How
Third
many
Amendment, 16th
amendments?
Amendment.
Yeah, I'm
23rd
like,
Amendment.
oh.
This is a
Oh.
mom question. You can phone a friend if you want to.
My mother will not know that. My mother's like, I make sure people don't go to jail for lying on their taxes. I don't know the history of taxation.
Got it.
Which is why I'm now relaxed as far as I won't be written out of the will or anything for being an idiot.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm going to say 16.
That is correct.
Wow.
Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God.
So good. So the Third Amendment, just in case you were wondering, prohibits forcing citizens to provide lodging for soldiers.
Oh, right. To soldiers.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you no longer have to do that.
Yes. And then the 23rd
I still do, though. If you show up in camo, if you show up in a sailor's uniform to my house, you're getting in.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting in.
All right, you hear that, boys?
Fleet Week's coming.
Come on in. 23rd Amendment allows Washington, D.C. citizens the right to choose electors in presidential elections. That was the 23rd Amendment.
Oh, okay. Good stuff.
Remember when the sailors would come to New York and all of a
Fleet
sudden...
Week, girl. Fleet Week. Ooh, patriotism felt like lockjaw by the end of that week. Oh,
I would look
well,
out my
because when
window
I
in
mean,
Hell's
listen,
Kitchen.
obviously, I was very happy when Don't Ask, Don't Tell ended, but when Don't Ask, Don't Tell was a thing, the sex was really good because it was really dangerous.
Yeah, there's a lot of repression.
Yeah, and just they could get in trouble. They could lose. So it's just you had to meet. And
the stakes were higher.
They couldn't go into gay bars, so you had to kind of find them in like video booths or make aggressive eye contact in bathrooms. It was the good old days where every sexual encounter you might die, but if you didn't, it was really good.
Oh my God, incredible.
Really makes
yeah,
it
I
worth
lived
it.
near Posh, and they would always be like hanging around.
Oh, yeah.
What's going on over here? All right, Cow's Bells. Peter the Great taxed blank. In 1698, Russia's Peter the Great introduced the blank tax. After embarking upon what he called a grand embassy across Europe to observe more about Western cultures and processes, he came back with a number of reforms designed to bring Russia up to speed.
Yeah.
Did he tax A, long pants, because he saw that people started wearing shorts? B,
what year was this?
This is 1698.
Okay.
B, gold jewelry, because he wanted to nix that as a fad. Or C, beards, because he thought his people looked too hairy.
I'm gonna go with beards.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Kelly Wallace Barnhill.
Woo!
3 points. I'm like, woo!
Oh my God.
And I tell you, I just watched a 5-part documentary on the history of the Russian czars. And I knew it was either going to be beards or pants because I didn't know if he applied a tax to pants, but he forced everyone to start dressing in a more European way.
Yeah.
Because he literally wanted, that's why St. Petersburg, the city, like he built it to be this like epic city because he wanted to like attract Europe. But I knew beards I was like, damn it, I just watched the documentary on this.
That's amazing. I feel like this show is very serendipitous. One thing I read about it is that, yes, he started making people, well, at first he started banning all beards. And then he realized, like, I can't police everyone and what they do. And probably with the pants and how they dress. So then he just enforced a tax on it.
It's kind of control issues, huh?
And the higher someone was of status, the more they would have to pay taxes. So, like, the poor people, he didn't care if they had beards. It was more about, like, your status.
He also had a toy navy, but that was like 3/4 the size. He had a lake that he used all the money to just build 2 entire fake armies, and he would make them go to fake war with each other like a kid in the bathtub.
So he's literally just the giant kid.
Yeah.
He's
all
like
the czars
the guy
were.
from...
That's
what's in Peewees Big Adventure? Who's the
yeah,
in the tub?
literally, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just just playing, just like
The only one that was half
mean,
decent was the woman.
spoiled-
Catherine the Great was the only one who had was good for anything. And of course,
Wow.
she was a woman, so they had to constantly try to murder her.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about her. Write that down, Lindsay.
Okay, Catherine the
Catherine
Great.
the Great. We're gonna have to do a.
Oh, she's a good time.
We pretend. Well, we do. We pretend that
We're
gonna
revisit things and then
but
we
we
forget what they were.
No, we
but
do
I'm writing them
sometimes.
down.
We do. We have a Google Doc for it now.
Okay.
We're so professional.
This is the last question. This is actually going to be for both of you.
Okay.
So you both have a chance to answer.
Okay.
So just you can write down your answer, or you could just say it when I call on you.
Okay.
I have a question. In California, there is a cow flatulence tax.
Okay. I feel like I've heard of this for some weird reason.
Brad, why is there a cow fart tax?
Because cows produce a massive amount of methane gas, which is a greenhouse gas. So it's probably
That's
a carbon
my answer.
emissions.
That's my answer.
That's also your answer?
That is also my answer.
Now, when you cleared your chakras earlier,
There were no cow. There was.
You're like, I
is there
don't have a
truth-
cow chakra.
Yeah. There's no cows in here.
Is there a truth chakra that was really your answer, or you just like to answer?
That
you're
was
going for
no.
answer?
That was going to be my answer, honestly,
Okay.
because I know that cows
Yes.
produce methane,
Yes.
and I know that's a greenhouse
Okay.
gas. Like that's literally because that's why the cattle industry is like it's bad for the environment, whatever, because it just produces a lot of
Yes.
And bad for the cows. People also forget.
and water.
Doesn't
well,
turn
and
out
also-
well for the cows either.
No, it does.
It does not end well for them.
So it said on the internet that the Golden State enacted legislation in September that will regulate greenhouse gas emissions from farms and landfills, including cow flatulence, a major source of methane, which is a more potent greenhouse gas
Mhm.
than carbon dioxide.
Now, I feel so rich in points that
Yeah.
I'll let Brad have this point.
No, I gave it to both of you. We'll
Yeah?
see how this game
Are
goes.
you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll give it to both of you.
Okay.
We'll take one away if we have to.
Okay. I have a feeling you will.
All right. Well, that was what was it? Hot takes tax.
Hot tax takes.
Hot tax takes. See, I didn't make you do
Amazing.
any math, you guys.
Thank
Any.
you.
Thank God.
So,
I
all
know.
right. Let's see where do we want to go next? I feel like Brad, you said that you went to an art conservatory.
I did. I went to the University of
Tell
the
us a little
Arts in
about that.
Philadelphia for music and theater.
Oh my God, my family's from Philly. I love Philadelphia.
Oh, really? One of my best friends is from college. We're still very close, and he lives in Philly, and he teaches at UArts actually with his wife.
Awesome.
So yeah, I lived on. Let's see, I lived right across the street from Woody's on Walnut Street, the gay bar, when my first year, and then I lived next to the Drake building for a year, and then I lived on 7th and South for 2 years.
Amazing.
So I know
Those are
Philly very
good
well.
areas. Yeah.
Before we
South
get into
Street.
your game, how were your parents with like what you wanted to do for a living? Were they supportive? Did they understand it?
They were super supportive. My father always wanted to be a rock star, so he was just happy that I went into the arts at all and like lived a dream, followed a dream. So he's been
Mhm.
thrilled.
I love
He's always been very supportive.
Aw.
And my mother was just very thankful that I was good at anything. But like I say that in a really supportive way, and like she has a firm theory that I ascribe to too, that because humans are kind of a herd animal, this kind of American idea that everyone has to be exceptional, that like that just can't be. Everyone's not going to be the CEO of a company, because who else would work in the rest of the company? Not everyone's going to invent, an electric car,
Right.
because once it's done, it's done. So her biggest fear was that just genetically no skills or talents would be passed down to me by either of them. And she would just hopefully raise like a lovable, non-violent idiot, but then kind of. So once I showed promise for anything, and I showed it so early on, that she was just
Yeah.
like, run with it. If that's the
Yay.
thing you can do, run with it. Run with it as hard as you
Oh,
can.
I love that.
So they were actually really
Oh, that's
supportive.
great.
They were really supportive.
That's so wonderful. So wait, so what were you studying? Theater, music?
Music
What were you
theater.
studying there?
The gayest major you could have. Music theater.
Absolutely.
She was a theater major, and I did the BFA musical theater at University of Miami. So.
Oh yeah, I looked at University of Miami too, but I did the summer program at UArts, and I liked it there. And they wrote a letter of recommendation for me to apply to colleges, and I was like, why don't we just hedge our bets here, and I'll apply here.
Yeah.
With your own letter of recommendation, so you kind of have to take me.
Right. Well, it sounds like it was the right decision.
Also, I felt like if I went to Miami, I would have missed a lot of classes and just partied. Philly's like a good, Philly's a good enough city that during the school year, half of it takes place during winter. Like there's no beach to go to.
You're forced to actually go to school.
Yeah, you're forced to stay in school.
Yeah, you're not 20 minutes from South Beach.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Oh my God, I would have been like married to some gay guy in a cartel by the time I was 19.
Totally.
Incredible.
All right, Brad. So you went to an art conservatory, but how much do you know about art conservation?
Oh.
We're taking a turn. We're pivoting.
Oh, no.
You thought we were going to make it easy for you, but we're talking about art conservation today.
Oh, I don't even know what that means.
Is the answer Q-tips? I know for paintings they use Q-tips a lot. That's all I've seen in movies.
Oh my God.
Da Vinci Code.
Right.
Does that count?
I think so. Something like that. Give him a point for Da Vinci Code. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. No, all right. So there are 4 major areas of art conservation. There's something called renovation, which I'm sure you've heard of. There's restoration. There's preservation. And there's conservation.
Okay.
Do any of those words mean anything to you? Could you tell me? This question is actually for both of you.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna do. This question is for both of you. What can you tell me about any of those things? Like, what is renovate? Because they all sound sort of similar, but what's the difference?
Right.
What's renovation? What's restoration? What's preservation? What's conservation?
I really like. I love, like, if I had all the money in the world, I love restoration hardware.
Yeah.
But I can't really afford it.
No.
And sometimes I could kind of afford the world market. Like there's
world market,
that look similar that I can afford.
Sure.
There's other things like I just wish I had a little bit more
so
money.
So it's expensive hardware is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Is your answer.
It's like
that is
restoring
incorrect.
old stuff and making it new again.
Restoring old stuff and making it new again.
No.
I'm going to give you a point. Let me tell you exactly what it says right here. Renovation simply means to make an object look like new.
Great.
Done. So
that's renovation.
That's
you're saying
restoration.
That's restoration. Because I'm like
teacher here.
You did learn about art conservation at your art conservatory.
The tapestries half destroyed and they have to rebuild half the tapestry.
You're right. Renovation is making something look like new. It can be done like however. Restoration is something different. So restoration, give him a point.
Conservation means keeping it okay and like protecting it and making sure it doesn't get damaged.
I thought of something.
Can I get a point?
You got a point.
No, I didn't.
You didn't get a point.
Brad
got a point because restoration means to bring it back to the way that it was
to rejuvenate,
not just to make
it. So
look
if the painting's
like
all dirty and the colors are faded, you use the Q-tips and you wipe everything away. If the tapestry's half destroyed, they have to like go find new gold thread and try to recreate the part that's missing, right? Okay.
Exactly.
Preservation is doing things to protect it from getting damaged.
Right? Like UV covers and stuff like that. Like in museums, how they'll cover. Like they don't let you take flash photography, and they don't let you.
Okay, I'll give you a point, Lindsey. But then we're just going to get a little bit more.
Yeah.
A little more detailed. Yeah. Brad, can you tell me what the difference between preservation and conservation is?
Oh.
Because they sound very similar, but there's a difference.
I mean, obviously there has to be, and I know what both those words mean, but they kind of mean the same to me.
They mean
Like if somebody told me I was going to a nature conserve, to look at birds, or a nature preserve to look at birds, I would assume they're basically the same thing. It'd be a big shitty lake with
Brad,
birds.
How about I'll give you the definition of one of them.
Of one?
Okay. Most commonly used in relation to architecture and built environments, this method states that the final appearance of whatever it is no longer the prime factor, but rather retaining the maximum amount of the original building fabric. Repairs must be done with minimal or no changes to the original building fabric and in like materials. So if possible, you have to use the same method that they used to make it originally and the same materials.
Preservation.
Yeah!
Oh my God. Woo!
Very good.
Very good.
So preservation involves keeping an object from destruction and seeing to it that the object is not irredeemably altered or changed. And you can add to it, like to make it. Right? But you have to use the same materials and the same building method if possible. In conservation, the absolute maximum amount of the original material in an... Wait, this makes no sense. Sorry, it's not a real sentence. Basically, any repairs or additions you can't epoxy something to it. Like you have to kind of keep it separate. So if it's like a broken, busted
so you
up
basically
building,
just keep the original thing as its thing, and
keep it from getting further damage.
Right. It's kind of like when you go to Pompeii. They have areas where they've recreated what the houses looked like with clay people, but then they show you the places where they've just conserved the actual
and it's just there. It's
archaeology.
All,
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. I'm not as stupid as I thought.
Really good.
Wow.
Okay.
Whew. No, all right. I feel like you're smart. I feel like
no, he's definitely smart.
I feel like
I've had to go on a lot of hungover cruise ship excursions with people to go see what I just call broken shit and baby Jesus. Because when you just go around, that's all they ever take you to see is just broken shit and baby Jesus. Did you work on a cruise ship? I didn't, but I performed for two companies. One, they're owned by the same company, but it's Atlantis Events and RSVP Vacations, and they're all gay charter cruises. And they bring on all their own entertainment. And so I've gone to 82 countries with them.
Fuck yeah.
But yeah, it's awesome. They're amazing. But it's, the ship offers excursions. And when I was younger and first doing it, I was like, I'll go on the ship excursion because I want to see Pompeii and Ephesus and the Colosseum. And then you get there and it's 110 degrees and it's just broken shit and baby Jesus. They're just like, something used to be over here. Look, something was standing there once. And you're like, really?
I worked on a cruise ship, and so I wanted to go and do the excursions, but I worked on a real cruise ship, not a gay one. So all my people were 80, and every time someone would fall, and I'd be like, this is going to be the trip where someone dies. This is going to be the trip where someone dies. So I couldn't even see Pompeii because I was worried about, Joan over here breaking her ankle. It was really scary.
I have terrible excursion luck too. I always get the weirdest tour guide. I stopped going because I felt I was ruining guests' experiences with my bad luck because we would have I was in China 2 years in 2019 with them. And so you have to take a shore excursion when you're in China because of China's laws. You can't just be an American wandering off a cruise ship for free time. And we literally had this 23-year-old Chinese guy who basically had a nervous breakdown, but it was a 5-hour tour. At one point, he was just playing a flute and crying, talking to us in broken English. And I was just like, and everyone looks at me because I'm the comedian. I do a show at the end of the week that's called The Last Laugh. And it's about what happened all week long. And it was a bus of 50 gays who were just looking at me like, you better be taking notes, queen, because this better be in the show. And I was like, I can't go on these tours anymore. I can't.
That's so intense.
I've had crazy tour guides.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Literally. I still have an audio recording.
Half in Chinese, half in it.
Yeah, literally. I still have an audio recording of it, and I danced to it on stage during my show that week.
No,
I
you
just-
have
and then I-
to-
we
we
need
a clip of that we need to post.
we
for
need.
this
If I
episode.
can still find it in my iCloud, I'll send it to you.
That is.
What I will send you for your own enjoyment is the video I made, because also it rained the entire cruise, like poured rain the entire cruise. So I have a video, a photo and video slideshow of me just doing everything, going to Shanghai Disney in the pouring rain, going to cities where there's so many clouds you can't see the building. I'll just send that to you for shits and giggles. You'll get a laugh out of it.
Beautiful.
I
Beautiful.
love it.
Awesome.
Oh my god.
Amazing. All right, guys, I've been really wanting to talk to you about insect damage.
Oh, great.
Of course.
Have you ever thought about insect damage?
Yeah, I've had termites.
Yeah, so there's termites, and then actually the most common culprit for wood infestation of antique objects is the powder post beetle.
Oh.
Who knew?
What?
I just wanted to ask you guys. Yeah. Mm-hmm. My question, though, this is important.
For both of us.
For both of you. If you
It's about crabs,
signs
isn't it? It's about crabs.
It's not. I wish I was that.
That's
I wish
tomorrow's
I had. This is different kind of art. If you find signs of active insects in your antique wooden object or frame, what is the first thing that you should do immediately? What do? You
put it outside.
No.
You sue the antique shop. You sue the antique shop you bought it at.
That is correct.
That
is? No,
No,
but he's getting a point for that.
I was thinking like bed bugs, like we put everything outside
you
the sun.
encase it in plastic.
Yes, that's actually right.
That's so smart.
You immediately quarantine the infested piece from other objects by wrapping and sealing it in a plastic bag.
Wow.
Well, let's see if you know this, Brad.
Wow.
All right. There are
I only know that because
types.
I travel too much and I've gotten bed bugs in a shitty hotel before.
So
yes, we've had
yes,
bed bugs
exactly.
too.
So I'm like, I assume the same.
Everything goes in a plastic.
Expensive art.
Exactly.
We were living in bin, we called it. Living
in bin. Everything was in a plastic bin. Living in bin. Then you might know this, Brad. There are four treatment methods when you have these bugs in your art. So there's fumigation, nitrogen gas treatment, the freeze and thaw method, and what's the fourth method?
Heating it up. Heating it.
That's Brad's question.
I don't care.
No, it's actually, you're incorrect anyway.
Great. I didn't want that answer.
I'm surprised freezing is even an option because I feel like that would damage it too. So that's why I wouldn't have gone. I think the other option would be
very sure in this article to be like, these are specific for specific.
Oh, for specific.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe like UV light. Would a light treatment kill it?
That's a good guess.
Ooh.
No, it's actually just depriving it of oxygen, like putting it in something and sucking all the oxygen.
Oh, like vacuum sealing it.
freeze
Oh,
it.
that makes
Yeah.
sense.
It's called anoxic treatment.
I don't think I've ever stopped to think that bugs breathe now that we talk about it. Like I've never stopped to think about like a termite having a lung. I guess I just they probably don't.
I never did stop to think about
probably
termite
absorbs
lungs
through
either.
their exoskeleton. But I've just never stopped to think
But
about.
you're right. They must.
I
Have
never stopped to
something.
think about them
They
having an
probably have a lung.
oxygen process.
Yes.
Right. Lindsay, do you remember the guy that told us that him and his girlfriend had bed bugs? We were at a bar. We were at like some kind of event. I think it was a Big Vision Empty Wallet, mixer or like workshop or something. And it was at a bar in New York. And there was a guy there who was telling us about his girlfriend and he had bed bugs. And then the bed bugs they thought went away.
Yeah.
No, they don't. They're
But then so it was gone. They were gone for like 6 months, he said. And then this is the first time. This is the first time we've ever met this person. He's going into this long story.
And you're like just backing away, like pre-social distancing, like get away from me.
Had her period in the bed.
No, and they came back to life.
Bleeding, and they fed on her blood and came back to life, and then they had bed bugs again.
That's what he.
Yeah,
told
they
us.
can
This was
last
his
like the
first
eggs or
story. This was
something
his
can last
breeding
for like
story.
2 years. The
That's
guy
what he
was
was trying
dating.
to tell us. I
Yeah,
guess.
the guy I was dating in my 20s was in the hospital, like had this mystery illness. No one knew what was wrong. He was eventually fine, but he was in the hospital for like a month, and there was a bed bug breakout in the hospital. So when he came home,
no, that's the worst place to have it.
but he got him like right at the tail end. So like he came home, and it was like a week later we started getting all itchy and blah blah blah. And then he got a phone call from the hospital saying we need to inform all the patients of like these 2 floors. And it took us, we had to do 2 rounds of the chemical treatment, and you have to take like 30 days off in between because you basically cover yourself with pesticide from like neck down. Everything had to be encased in plastic for like a year just to be sure. Like it was insane.
We had
Oh my God. Yeah.
right before we moved here.
And then I got them twice. In
Oh.
LA.
Oh, yeah, there's too much nature in this town.
This
The
must
one
be
that's
too
my
much
one
nature.
complaint. There's too many. We have a possum problem. We have a bed bug problem. Kill it all.
There's
just
a
to nuke
skunk problem too.
Oh.
She's got skunks.
We
there's
get
skunks
possums. Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
you do?
The skunk sprayed Lindsay's dog in the face while I was
Oh
babysitting.
no.
So I had a skunk-faced dog for 4 days.
It was a nightmare.
I wanted to die.
I was in the Bahamas.
If I'd known, I would have told you a quick fix to that is to just get a different dog. It's just to
Smart.
just
Really
go to
smart.
the
It's the
ASPCA and be
only
like,
way.
sorry, it didn't work out with sprinkles. I gotta.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Last question. This is for both of you, and I do have a multiple choice, so I'm actually going to have you maybe like write down your answer so that
Okay,
you
we
both
can do
guess.
that.
Does
We
that
can
work?
do that.
Okay.
And then I'll hold it up to the camera. We can do this
Yes,
officially.
exactly.
Yes. Love it.
Right. All right. So, guys, I am just going to ask you what the most famous art restoration fail of all time is. So sometimes people like really fuck up a restoration and
Right.
it comes out looking.
Right.
So there's many, but I'm going to give you 3 choices, and one is the most famous of all time.
Okay.
Okay.
A, the Beast Jesus in Spain.
Okay.
B, Slutty Santa Barbara in Brazil.
Okay.
Or C,
Love her.
glammed out St. Anthony of Padua with drag baby Jesus.
Oh.
Wow.
So you could just guess whichever one you like the best, but it might not be the right answer.
Yeah, I mean,
C. I think I'm gonna go B.
Okay.
I
What did
went
Brad
with
write?
A.
A.
Going A.
A. Brad is right.
Yes.
A. In
Wow.
undoubtedly the most famous example on this list from this article that I got, Cecilia Jimenez put her small Spanish town on the map when her hilariously inept attempts to restore a religious painting of Jesus in the crown of thorns went viral. She's 82. She had the best of intentions.
Aw.
She was like, I think some priest or somebody told her she could do it. And she, it literally
Destroyed it.
looks, they call it Beast Jesus or Behold the Monkey. Because it turned his face into, like, we'll show pictures of it. We'll have to post some pictures of it. It's completely insane. SNL did a skit about it.
Yeah.
And, like,
that's the one I know the best. And
so
if I'm remembering correctly, professional restorers said it couldn't be fixed. So that's also why I picked it, because I was like, I distinctly remember them like really throwing an 80-year-old woman under the bus, being like, you not only ruined it, but it can't even be attempted to be saved. It's like,
wow.
You ruined
Jesus,
it. Bitch.
Jesus
like,
hates you.
Ruined it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see that.
It's really funny.
That's amazing.
It's really great. Yeah, and then there's like Slutty Santa Barbara in Brazil. They like made this statue, like they gave her eyeliner. They like made the colors really bright and kind of garish. I actually saw I thought she looked good.
Yeah.
But I think
You're a
art.
Horus,
Yeah,
so-
but art history is like pretty misogynist. So whatever. And then there was the glammed out St. Anthony in Colombia, and then he had a baby Jesus, and they both had like eyeshadow, blush, lipstick.
Of course.
St. Anthony looked like he had a facelift. Like it was just amazing. I love it. I know.
I love it.
Those sounds like
So
things
what
I would
was-
actually hang in my house. Those sound like
Yeah,
the sorts
I
of
would
art I would
actually
actually
like
put
them.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, the Beast Jesus is hilarious though.
I
It's
can't
just,
wait.
it literally
His
looks like a
face is
kid
so
finger
fucked up.
painted. Like it doesn't look like there was a painting under there at all. Like it just looks
Here.
like a kid
I'm
finger
gonna
painted.
look it up.
And
Yeah,
that
Lindsay,
like
I
the
have it
kid
right here.
rode the short bus to school. Like not even a good kid finger painting.
Yeah, I need to see it.
All right, I'm gonna show you really quick. Brad, you know what it looks like,
Show
so
me
I'm
Yeah.
just, there we go.
Yeah.
Looks
Yeah,
like,
your
looks like a
face.
monkey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they could.
And she used like house paint or
was.
something. Like the restorers were like,
Yeah.
we can't fix this because you used a kind of paint that basically attached
They
to the
can't
original
burnish
paint.
it off
And
or
if we
whatever.
try to rub it
They
off,
can't,
it's just
like-
gonna rub off
yeah.
the whole thing.
Oh wow!
Like she didn't even go to fucking Joanne Fabrics to get some actual acrylic paints or
No.
something. She was like,
She
"What do I
actually
got?"
used nail polish.
Yeah. She's
Oh
like,
my
"What do I
God.
got around? I got some nail enamel. I got some Benjamin Moore in the garage."
I love it.
What a psycho!
Incredible.
Amazing. Liz, she tried her best.
She really did.
She tried her best.
She's somebody's grandmother.
Exactly.
You know
Leave
what
her alone. No, we have enough old art paintings of Jesus.
We
Come
definitely
on.
do. We
How many
definitely
more?
do.
How many do we need? Let her have
Very
it.
true.
Let her have it.
It's all no, and at least that one's now original because there's every
Exactly.
country you go to, Jesus just looks like them. So there's Middle Eastern
Right.
Jesus and Turkey Jesus
Now
and Greek
these-
Jesus and now at least there's monkey Jesus. There's weird creepy Sasquatch Jesus.
I think it's important that they're represented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Big feet are people too.
Yes.
Exactly. Well, you guys, it's recess time.
Woo.
Brad, do you have any fun, embarrassing stories from your youth?
So my middle school didn't have a drama club, which pissed me off to no extent because I was already feverishly, I would regularly in tears fight with my mother about not taking me to LA in the summer so I could try to be on Nickelodeon. I literally would beg her
fucked up that she didn't take you.
I would beg her to sell me into show business constantly. I begged to go live with and my mother was like, you're like 10. I can't just sign you over your legal guardianship over to Harvey Weinstein and hope it all works out well.
Please,
like,
no. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Not just going to drop you off at Brian Singer's house and hope for the best.
Right. Here,
But
you
I
have
like
an internship with Kevin Spacey.
yeah. But I aggressively thought that's what was supposed to happen. That my career was being stunted if I wasn't being sold into child Hollywood labor.
Amazing.
So there was one middle school teacher who I didn't even have as a teacher. Wonderful woman, but I wasn't even in one of her classes. She just liked me and we talked a lot. And I basically bully campaigned her into getting the school to give her like $2,000 to get some play or musical that we could do as like an 8th grade show. And so for some reason, because I'm the one who bullied her into it, she let me pick. So we had so little money because the money had to cover like costumes and the music and the rental from Samuel French, the script. So it was all rip-offs of legitimate shows. So I ended up choosing a rip-off of Little Shop of Horrors called Little Luncheonette of Terrors, which is about a lizard person who comes up from the center of the earth to take over mankind. And his name, of course, is Mongo. Mondo, M-O-N-G-O, Mongo. His introduction, 20 minutes in, is the song "I Me Mongo," which I slay. By the way, I of course cast myself as the lizard person villain that I played just naturally in a very kind of Scar from The Lion King, like unnecessarily gay, because it's the only shade of acting I had at that point in my life was just super gay.
Yeah.
So for like the late 80s, early 90s, it was also kind of really not playing in well to my own community's best interest to portray all villains as gay.
True.
So we had to do, and so we did the whole thing. I was in a black and silver, for some reason, the costume store in our town had a black and silver metallic lizard full body costume with just the face open. that I then
God.
did in black and silver metallic paint, but not like a lizard,
Beautiful.
just like, I don't know what the fuck I was.
Just for fun.
Yeah.
Well, you're a
Yeah,
lizard
just-
from the center of the earth, so you're
Just
not going to
patterns.
look like
I
lizard.
took a lot of liberties with the role. I took a lot of
Yes, artistic license.
literally. Yeah, and so that's probably to this day the thing I'm the most egregiously embarrassed by is that I literally bullied an entire intermediate school into letting me have
incredible.
a show.
Do you have pictures of that you in that costume?
I may have actually, now that we bring it up, I may have a Mongo picture. I will dig it up and
Do you
add
mind
it to the
looking
ones
for
I
that?
think.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I do,
I
I have
need to see that.
I have like 5 photo albums, and so I can quick look through, and if it's not in there, I don't have it. I know I don't have it like digitally, but if I do, I will absolutely
Right.
scan it and send it to you.
We are going to take you up on that. I need to see that lizard from the center of the earth.
I love
Mongo.
Mongo.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, let's get to our next class. I actually think Brad's going to be really, really excited about this class, and I actually think he's going to be really good.
I think he's. I actually know what this class is.
I
don't know the questions, but I know the.
We're going to go to music class, and we're going to play a game called Let's Get Our Kicks with Stevie Nicks.
Oh, God, I better do well at this. At this.
Yes. So, Brad, you have a very special relationship with Stevie Nicks, you told us.
I do. Not a personal one. I don't want to get blocked.
Yes.
In your mind. Mind.
It just in my mind. My best friend and I from childhood, basically Stevie Nicks is like our baseball cards. So we have spent our life collecting like confirmed stories about Stevie Nicks, but more importantly, she's a really prolific songwriter of a period of time where both because she was drunk and high a lot and because the technology allowed for it, there are hundreds and hundreds of bootleg unreleased songs of hers and demos and outtake recordings and different stylized versions of songs. And so her fans kind of have created this whole collecting world around it. Like you try to hunt down and this is going back to like when you had to find like burned CDs of them or cassettes.
Right.
So it was kind of like, it was like our nerdy comic book baseball thing, but it was Stevie Nicks. So I ended up, I'm still very much in love with her. And my best friend Dan and I will still occasionally talk for like 5 hours on the phone about her when she does something weird.
If I get any information wrong, okay, I want you to know it's the internet's fault, and I want you to correct me.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Let's get our kicks with Stevie Nicks. All right, let's start with Brad. He's gonna know this. I already know.
He's gonna know them all.
All right. As a small child, Stephanie Nicks would call herself TD as she couldn't pronounce her own name.
Idiot.
Her blank, Aaron Nicks, was a jobbing country and western singer and taught Stevie to sing with him. Understanding little Stevie was marketing gold, Aaron asked to take the primary school age Stevie on tour, but was rejected when her parents forbade it. Was Aaron her grandfather?
It's her grandfather.
Yes.
And her full name is Stephanie Lynn Nicks.
So great.
Show off.
Actually, the first song she ever wrote, the first little song she ever wrote was about her grandfather. And she wrote it when she was like 8.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Very cool.
Yeah, he's definitely going to win this.
I know. Kelly, how did Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham meet? Was it A, the music scene, B, on the neighborhood playground, or C, a youth group?
The playground.
That is incorrect. Brad, do you know? Was it the music
I
scene
assume you're going with youth group, but they actually met in high school initially and re-met again in the music scene of San Francisco before joining the band Fritz, before they formed their own duo.
Very good.
So they don't have playgrounds in high school?
I don't know what kind of playground we're doing in high school.
There was a youth
band
group,
closet.
like a youth group club, like a Christian club in their high school.
She says she remembers meeting him, and he says he doesn't remember meeting her there, which also plays into their fighting with each other.
Interesting. All right, so Brad
She just wants to be seen, you know.
That's
Brad
all she's
mentioned
little
Fritz.
5'1".
Wants to be
She
validated
just wants
and
to be seen.
acknowledged.
Yep.
She just wants to be seen. Let's see if you know this one, Brad. So, as you said, Buckingham and Nick's first band, Fritz, they opened for acts including Jefferson Airplane, Creedence Clearwater, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix.
Amazing.
In the early 70s, when they prepared their debut album for their new duo, Buckingham Nicks, Stevie borrowed their producer Keith Olsen's new gold Corvette. Do you know what happened to the Corvette?
I actually don't. This is actually I know that she was his cleaning lady in exchange for rent and studio time, which is when she started writing Gypsy. And I have a recording of her starting to record, what is it, Sarah, where she literally says, I just want to be a singer. I don't want to be a cleaning lady anymore. And then the music kicks in.
Amazing.
I did not know she borrowed Keith's Corvette and fucked it up, I assume.
Gold Corvette. So you have an A, B, and C. What happened to the Corvette? A, it ended up on someone's roof in Van Nuys. B, it flew down a cliff on Mulholland. Or C, she drove it into the ocean in Venice.
Oof.
None of those are good options, Stephanie. What did you do? My guess now, so the problem is at that exact time, the car that Lindsey and Stevie had, I think could only go up to second gear and it couldn't make right turns. So this I know for a fact is a true story. And she was getting tired of supporting him because she was waiting tables at a 20s themed diner in LA called Flappers, I think. Or something like that, where she had to wear like a flapper costume every night.
Yeah.
Well, he just stayed at home like an asshole and worked on guitar picking.
No.
Men are terrible.
I'm so resentful.
Lindsey Buckingham's a monster. Amazing guitar player is a monster. I would say I would go went down the hill, went off the cliff, because my feeling is she would forget to use a parking brake.
That is incorrect. Kelly, do you want to try to steal and ended up on someone's roof in Van Nuys, or she drove it into the ocean in Venice?
I think she drove it into the ocean.
That is incorrect. Now, this is what happened. She parked the vehicle on a steep Van Nuys hill in the San Fernando Valley. She forgot to put the handbrake on. So
God, see, I literally know her psychology even when I get it wrong.
Oh my God, truly.
It rolled off the road, and because of the way the hill was,
it went onto someone's roof.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I swear to God, when you guys post this, Dan is gonna call me from Chicago and say, you stupid whore. How do you not know that
story? Amazing. Okay, I'm gonna do two more. Kelly. During the hedonistic record sessions for Fleetwood Mac's Rumors, any Coke foils left unattended would be consumed by Stevie's poodle named A, Gimlet, B, Ginny, or C, Cosmo.
Gimlet.
That is incorrect. You want to try to steal, Brad?
I don't pay attention to her dogs as much as I should have. I know Suleiman just died a few years ago, but you're talking about the Rumors days, so I'm going to say Ginny.
That is correct. Oh my God.
Do I get a point if that was my first instinct and I went against it? No. Okay.
Remember that extra point you got earlier?
Yeah. Okay.
All right, let's see if Brad knows this one. In Spin Magazine in 1997.
Spin Magazine, remember
God,
that?
Yeah, can we just have a moment for Spin Magazine?
I needed to take a moment. Yeah.
Yes. Wow. She said in the interview that she watched the 1983 Tom Cruise film Risky Business during an all-night Coke binge and decided to buy the blank from the movie the next day. Was it A, the Porsche, B, the underwear he wore in that famous scene, or C, the house he lived in the movie?
The Porsche.
That is correct.
He knew that. He said that with so much confidence.
I know.
I actually believe she got the actual one, though. I believe she actually bought it, but actually literally had somebody from her team contact the studio and say, I want that car, I'll buy it from you.
In
If I can't 100%, but my memory is that she not only bought, it's
Yes.
like, because it wasn't a weird color, right? Like, I think
don't
it was,
remember.
yeah.
But I'm
almost
under the
sure she got the
impression- I
one.
think she bought the one. She
Yeah.
bought the one.
Yeah.
All right, last question. Let's see if Brad knows this. This is for Kelly. Stevie threatened to quit Fleetwood Mac if they named their 1979 double album Tusk. They did it anyway, and she stayed with the band. But why did she hate the name Tusk? Was it A, because Tusk was Mick Fleetwood's name for his weenus? B, because Tusk was Mick Fleetwood's name for his butthole? Or C, because Tusk was Mick Fleetwood's nickname for his penis?
What's
Weenus?
a weenus?
Like this. Never heard of a weenus?
His penis.
That is
Correct. Correct.
Did you know that, Brad?
Yeah, it's a British slang. It's an old British slang term for hard on is tusk. So yeah, that was, she was not, she's, I'd also like to point out, she was very classy and elegant about that, but she was also fucking Mick Fleetwood at the time, and he was married. So she had a sliding scale during those years of where the Downton Abbey morals kicked in and when they didn't.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. She kind of picked
Right.
into-
Like, don't write a song about your penis, but also get your penis.
But I
over
want to
here
see
right
it.
now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm into it. I just don't want everyone to know what we call it at home.
Speaking of your healer today, I read in this article that she believes that she knows how she was killed in a previous life.
Ooh.
Do you know this, Brad?
How Stevie
said
thinks
that
she knows how she was killed in a previous life?
Yeah, she thinks she was put to death on a guillotine.
Of course she
Or
does.
at some point, right?
Of course she does.
She also has a temperature-controlled shawl vault.
Yeah. So this I
I'm
can tell you about.
sorry.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah. So
Yes.
I'll give you the full clothing insanity in like 90
Yes.
seconds if I can.
Yes. Yes.
Once she's Stevie, so once she's rich and famous, the initial looks, those early 2 years of Fleetwood Mac is like flea market, secondhand store shit from the 60s, the 30s. Now they're rich and famous, and she's Stevie Nicks in all capital letters. So she meets a woman named Margie Kent, who still to this day has made every piece of clothing she's ever worn. She basically owns Margie Kent, and Margie Kent just has mannequins of Stevie Nicks in her house, and she makes everything custom. Stevie Nicks then found an Italian boot maker in Italy who makes her legendary boots. He's been making the boots his whole, but he was like 50 when she was like, 30. So maybe I made 10, 15 years ago. He's 90, and so he's about to die. So she has him make like 1 or 2 dozen of her boots in every possible color and material possible, because she's hoping they will last her whole life. And finally, the black and gold Stand Back shawl, which is the shawl she wears in the music video Stand Back, is so iconic that, and she knew the song was going to be a huge hit, that when they had the shawl made, she actually bought either one giant or multiple commercial grade rolls of the material, so that she still has the original one and wears it in filmed concerts to show you that it's because they're kept in temperature controlled vaults. All her clothes are like maintained. They're like,
wow.
She
so would
wears
you say they're
stuff.
being preserved or conserved?
Well, I don't know how much has to be changed. Like, that shawl is just giant. She doesn't fit into the dresses from 1978. Like, they'd have to be let out a little bit up here and out here. So that would probably be like reconstruction or
right.
Wow.
Amazing. Wow, thank you for that.
Yes,
you
that's
really
amazing.
do know a lot about Stevie Nicks.
That was incredible.
I know.
Wow.
I know. Everyone's got to have a hobby. Everyone's got to have a hobby.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
And when you wrote, like, if I could teach a class on something, it would be this. I'm like, well, let's get into that. I mean, that sounds fun,
I could totally teach a class about like how her lyrics intersect with romanticism and poetry and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Are you going to start? You should teach this class. college. That could be an elective.
The problem is I'm
Like-
terrified of who would sign up for it.
Right.
The problem is I'm genuinely
Yeah.
scared of what creatures would come out of the woodland areas to be like, that's the
Right,
course
the
I
center
want
of the
to take.
earth.
Yeah.
Yeah. What
we get some
lizards would
mongos in
arise
there.
from
We
the
get
core.
some mongos. in there.
Yeah, a lot of mongos in there. So Brad, you said that you were really good at French, and that you
I mean, I
used to
was
take
when I was
notes.
17. Yeah.
You used to take notes in your other classes in French to keep
Yes.
up your French skills,
Yes.
and then you sort of lost it over the years. But then you go to
Completely.
when you go to France, here and there. You said like every summer you're still able. You kind of drop back into it, and you're able to find
Yeah.
drugs and
Little.
hookers.
Yeah. Yes.
The only
Yes.
thing
I can order in restaurants. I can like loosely ask for directions, and I can find hookers and blow in French. But
Perfect.
usually only when
So-
I'm already a little drunk. Like I need to be
Right.
just drunk enough that my brain stops trying to think about the
Start-
conjugation and just starts
Yeah,
So
talking.
you just kind of flow right
Let it
into
flow.
Right.
Just let it flow. So okay, that's great because we're going to history class today, and we're taking a class called Historic Horrors of Gay Paris.
Oh,
Ooh.
wow.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about some people that are either French or have lived in France or in Paris, and they're not all exactly whores, but there's a theme.
They're horror adjacent.
They're horror adjacent. Well,
Who
this
isn't?
first woman, she was a whore. She was the madam. Her name was Justine Paris. Justine Paris. She was a French courtesan and madam. She hosted several of the most famous brothels in mid-18th century Paris and was one of the most known and successful of her trade.
Mm.
While most brothels in mid-18th century Paris had no more than 3 prostitutes. Brad, this is your question. My apologies. We're going to go. This is we'll go
Gotcha. Back and forth. Yeah.
While most brothels in mid-18th century Paris had no more than 3 prostitutes working in their brothels at any one time, Justine Paris had how many prostitutes?
Oh.
Is it A, 7, B, 14, or C, 22? How many whores are in that house?
In one house. She had one, or she had a
Yeah.
whole series in one house.
Yeah, correct. In one house.
In one house, she had 14.
Yes!
Good guess.
You know your whores.
Yeah,
I
you
love
know that
it.
you're dirty,
I was
dirty
literally
whores.
just thinking of the size of townhouses in general in Paris, because Paris doesn't
Smart.
change.
Wow.
Smart.
So I'm like, could you fit 40?
Yeah.
You could 27 and be
You could
tight.
probably get 14
27
in
and
there.
be
Yeah.
light. 7 isn't quite.
That's hilarious.
That's exactly it. Yeah, so she's like one of the most famous madams. She and
Good
her
for
brothel are
her.
portrayed in the memoirs of Casanova. Casanova
Oh,
wrote
yeah.
about her. The Marquis de Sade wrote a role for her in one of his books. So
What was her name? Something Paris.
Justine Paris.
It almost sounds like a drag queen. Justin Paris. Justine
It
Paris.
does. Her real name was, I don't know how to pronounce French, so it's Bien Fate, I think. Bienfait.
Yeah, bien fait. Bien fait. Which would mean,
Bien Fate.
which would I don't know what the fait, but bien is good. So bien,
Right.
Good pussy.
That's exactly what it meant.
That would be chien. Or chat, actually.
Oh,
Chat is,
Chat?
or no, chien. Chien méchant. Chien méchant, yeah. Means it's
we
a
did a
chien.
game about this.
Yeah.
We did
One
a
is
game
dog, one
about-
is cat.
We did a French.
See what I mean? When I'm not drunk
See?
and we're not looking.
Chat,
I have-
Chat is cat.
Chat is cat and
Chat
chien
is
is
cat.
dog.
Chat.
Yeah.
Chat
So
is
bien
cat.
chat.
Yeah. But you were saying, what's the other one?
Well, because the formal way of saying bitch, like not in the derogatory way towards a woman, but saying a female dog would be to say chien méchant, which means angry female dog,
Got it.
feral,
Good talk.
moaning.
Yeah.
Feral animal.
That's your new nickname.
Very good.
But in French, so it sounds
Yeah,
more
it's pretty.
classy.
It's pretty.
Yeah, it's prettier.
Excuse me.
Mhm.
All right, Lindsay.
Yes.
At one time, Justine Paris and another famous madam of the time opened a successful brothel together.
Mm.
And this woman's name was Marguerite Gourdin. Gourdin? Gourdin. Gourdin. I don't know. I don't know how to. Cannot.
Gordon.
Margaret Gordon.
Maggie Gordon.
Maggie, good old Maggie Gordon. She was the wife of a French soldier who, with her husband's permission, prostituted herself. With a wealthy nobleman, she got knocked up and she managed to secure child support and support for herself until that dude died.
Good for her.
Let's see. Oh, okay. Marguerite used agents to find prostitutes for her brothels. Like, she literally, like, it was like a business. She had recruiters.
Wow.
And she divided her whores into 4 categories.
Okay.
The first were the women who worked and lived in the brothels.
Okay.
The second were prostitutes that lived in their own homes and had clients like of their own, but like still paid her. Like, she like owned them. She was pimped them or whatever. And then there were artists, singers, actors, and musicians supplementing their income. And then what is the 4th category? I'm going to give you an A, B, and C.
Okay.
Nuns escaping the restrictive life of the convent.
Get out of town.
B, poor women whose husbands had died.
Get out of here.
C, the wives of wealthy noblemen who wanted to get it.
Wow. B?
Poor women whose husbands had died. That's incorrect. Brad, would you like to steal?
Wow.
Was it A, nuns escaping the restrictive life of the convent, or C, the wives of wealthy noblemen?
That's a tough one. Because I feel like at that era, all the nobility was just fucking anyway. You know what I mean? Like, there was a certain, especially in France, it was like known. France was known for where you went on the continent. So I'm just going to say A.
No, it was the wives of...
It was, wow.
Yeah, so the wives of wealthy merchants and noblemen who wanted to obtain their own source of income or merely enjoyed the work.
Wow.
Totally fair.
Wow.
Totally fair.
Totally fair.
Totally
Let them.
fair. Their husbands probably couldn't get up anymore.
Oh, and I guess because, I mean, even if she then got pregnant, as long as you were still occasionally fucking your nobleman husband, you could even just pass it off and be like, it's yours.
Exactly. And
the nuns have a harder problem with that. The nuns have a harder problem with immaculate conception.
Yeah, like, how many times can that happen? You know?
Yeah, they're like, we have a lot of Jesuses now, guys.
Mm-hmm. But maybe, it can happen once a century, right? We're almost at the end. I feel like also people in that time, everyone claimed they had money and was living like they had money, but a lot of people were probably actually not. So they're like, actually, honey, go be a whore so we can get some.
Well, yeah, and you have, men were the only ones who could own things in a lot of those periods of time. So like, if your husband gambled away all of your money, you got to go, you got to get your kitty out on the street. So, fucking men. It always comes back to fucking men.
It always comes back to fucking men.
Fucking men and fucking men.
Brad, number 3. Question. I have a question about these 2 business partner madams. Where did they meet? Hint, it's related to the way they both died. Is it A, in a jail, B, in a hospital, or C, at a nobleman's party?
C, at a nobleman's party.
No, that's incorrect. Lindsay, do you want to take a guess? In a jail or in a hospital?
Jail?
No. They met at a hospital.
For syphilis?
Yes!
Oh!
God bless.
They met there, then they went out and started their new business, their new whorehouse, and
Incredible.
Then Justine...
Reunited years later.
It's like, wait, I
would also.
You have syphilis? Let's go to
10-year anniversary. Who's going?
Wow.
Yeah. A song was composed at the funeral of Marguerite when she died that I just found that's on like Wikipedia or whatever, and I thought it was funny, so I'm including it. Oh, by the way, like all like noblemen, like princes, all these people were like their friends and like advocated for them, even though they
in France it was legitimate to be like a madam or a prostitute. If you were like a richer one, like if you were like not a streetwalker.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you were in a house, with nice furniture and you had a wig on,
then they're friends with all those people because they all came to them.
they had review books. They had review books like Yelp. They had little booklets they would put out every year where like critics would go around and rate them like restaurants and rate the prostitutes.
Wow.
Oh my God, the Zagat
Yeah.
guide.
Literally, the fucking, yeah.
Well, when I went to Amsterdam maybe like 10 years ago, I took a wrong turn on my bicycle.
Sure
and
you
I
did.
saw where the other whores were. I mean, there's the
red light
professional
Right,
ones,
right,
and then
right.
I saw the other ones, and I was like,
Wow.
oh wow, there's a whole
What
other
color lights did
world.
they have?
They didn't
No,
have
they
any
didn't have
lights.
No,
no
yes.
buildings. They
Yeah.
had nothing.
Got it.
No, I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of friends who are sex workers and porn stars. It's like Pringles. When you get one, you just get a lot of them then. And but they're really
And you can't
is.
eat just one.
Yeah, no. Once you pop, you can't stop.
Right, that's what it is.
once you but there really is, even back then there was a huge difference between what would be like a streetwalker and what would be like a proper courtesan or porn, or now we would call them porn stars or sex workers.
Right.
You know, we wouldn't,
Right,
you know,
or like a high-end escort.
right, like an OnlyFans page is not the same as like somebody turning a trick at a truck stop, and even in Alibi.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same. It's still the same. So let me just quickly read you her song. I'm not going to sing it because I don't know the tune. I wish I did. But it goes, noble mackerel and pox, Versailles, Paris are panicked. We all mourn this morning for this so-called hussy. Yes, Gordon, the madam, is dead as she had lived. The cock in the ass, the hearse is at the door, escorted by 300 whores, the pine in hand.
That's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
The cock in the
cock.
ass.
I'm gonna have
Yes.
somebody put music to that and sing it at my funeral.
That's gorgeous.
That's great.
I will send that
the
to
hearse
you.
at the door.
There will be
Beautiful.
300 whores at my funeral too. Trust
Yes,
me. There will
absolutely.
definitely be 300 whores at my funeral.
Absolutely.
Will be 2 of them.
Yeah.
All right. Lindsey, your turn, I believe? No.
I don't know. What was the last question?
The last question.
Oh, where they
I
met?
answered first
I
last
think it
time.
was.
I
yeah,
answered
it's
first
my
last
question.
time.
Mhm.
Okay, it's Lindsey's question. Lindsey, Ava Kochever, also known as Eve Adams, was born Chawa Zlokzwar. She was
Catchy.
a Polish Jewish. Yeah, very well. That's why she
Yeah,
changed it to
I
Eve
can see why
Adams.
she changed it for show business.
Yeah, Chawa Zlok. Yeah, I'm sorry. She's a Polish Jewish immigrant librarian and writer, most known for running from 1925 to 1926 a popular openly lesbian after theater club in Greenwich Village.
Wow.
Yeah, it was called Eve's Hangout.
Wow.
I know. It closed
I
when.
didn't know they had lesbians back then.
No, you're right. Yeah, that was you thought it was a new
It was
thing.
before lesbians.
BL.
Yeah.
Yeah. So her, and I'll tell you what her connection to Paris is in a minute. But so she had this after theater club called Eve's Hangout for lesbians, and it closed when she was arrested, and she was eventually deported back to Europe.
Wow.
Because she was convicted. She was arrested and convicted of an obscenity.
Okay.
What was the obscenity that she was convicted of? Was it A, displaying a painting that her girlfriend painted in which she posed nude? Mm-hmm. Was it B, writing a book called Lesbian Love? Or was it C, singing a sexually explicit song to, an undercover cop?
B?
Yes, she wrote a book called Lesbian Love.
Wow, good for her.
Yeah.
That's
It was
amazing.
for private circulation. This was in February 1925. She wrote and published 150 copies for private circulation only of Lesbian Love, written under the name Evelyn Adams,
Wow.
a collection of short stories describing lives of women in the lesbian community. She was convicted by New York City's Vice Squad of obscenity for that book and for disorderly conduct after an undercover police officer said that Eve showed her the book and then she made a pass at her.
Wow.
And then she spent a year in jail where she met Mae West. And then she was, I know, and I didn't look up why was Mae West there at that same time.
Oh, Mae West was arrested all the time. She was
got
arrested for obscenity
she was
all the time. Her show was
they were both
utterly
there for
illegal.
obscenity.
Yeah.
Oh,
She was Lenny Bruce before Lenny Bruce. She literally,
Wow.
and as soon as she would get arrested,
cool.
the theater would bail her out, and then she'd go back on stage and do the show again, and now the place would be packed.
Amazing.
Wow.
So she, just real quick, so then, so she got deported back to Europe, and then she, so for a while she was living in Nice, actually, not in Paris. She was living in France,
it's one of my
Nice.
favorite places in France.
God,
I've never
been. I want to go.
We should all be so lucky to get deported from America for obscenity and go live in Nice.
And then back to Nice. Well,
you're like,
what happened? She was in December 1943. She was arrested in Nice with her girlfriend, and they were imprisoned in an internment camp, and then they got sent to Auschwitz.
Oh my God! I didn't even think about you're in the middle of like Nazi Europe. I'm like, France wasn't sending dykes to internment camps, and I'm like, oh, but the Nazis. Oh.
But the Nazis.
How many times have we all had to say, but the Nazis? Just in the last 2 years. Just in the last 2 years.
Right.
I mean, come on.
I know. Sorry to end it on such a bad note.
Okay, but
she sounds really cool. And so she in Europe, she's considered an LGBT icon. So I feel like we don't know her as well here, but like we should. Although the city of New York, and for some reason, I don't know why, the National Park Service tends to keep her memory alive. I didn't further look into that, but that was on.
Because that's how wide her vagina was. It was considered one of the great gorges of the Northeast.
There's a street in Paris named after her. And then a playwright named Barbara Kahn wrote a play about it, about her in the U.S. And, there's a biography coming out about her this year called The Daring Life and Dangerous Times of Eve Adams.
Wow, very cool.
What's interesting to me, too, is, I mean, not that we should, like, quantify murder and trauma, but I'd be interested to know if they pink triangled her or yellow starred her. So, like, in the concentration camps, because if she was Jewish and a lesbian, they usually only assigned you one. And actually, Pink Triangle was the lowest or one of the lowest. The Jewish star was actually, so there was a lot of cases of gay Jews who then tried to hide their homosexuality or lean into their Judaism to try to get themselves a slightly better death camps in the most macabre kind of horrible way. But it's just interesting because they had all these horrible categories, but what happens when you're 2 or 3 or 4 of those things? Like, how do you, you know?
I never really thought about
what happens when you're intersectionally
what happens when you're a Jewish lesbian communist who you know is left-handed? What do you put on me now?
Right.
Speaking of lesbians, do we know if the cubbyhole is still around in New York?
Well, during COVID, I don't know for sure, but I do know the woman who used to own the cubbyhole. I don't know if she still does. She owns Cherries, I believe, on Cherry Grove. Cherries is open. I don't know if the New York City was down to like 2 lesbian bars by the time we were leaving.
I know. That's why I'm curious.
You girls don't get out and drink like the boys do. You just don't.
Yeah, I don't know. I went to the cubbyhole many moons ago, and I think with Spencer. I went with Spencer. And I was like, oh my God, I'm at my first lesbian bar. Because I've always gone to gay bars, and I never...
There's almost none.
Inviting.
There's almost none. I read an article recently that said there's like less than 50 in all of America right now. Like it's the lowest it's ever been. Yeah.
We need Eve Adams back.
When I lived in Long Beach, though.
Eve's Hangout.
Yeah, when I lived in Long Beach, there's a few lesbian bars still in Long Beach.
Oh, really? Oh, good.
Yeah.
I can't think of one in LA. I honestly can't think of one in LA. I mean, Akbar is a mixed bar of everybody, but it's really considered a gay bar. It identifies, the bar has an identity and it identifies as a gay bar.
I've had those vodka sodas. It's a gay bar.
That's the other thing you can tell. If the beer selection is limited, but the vodka soda is basically 5 ounces of vodka, for $9, it's a gay bar. Not soda. If it's a lesbian bar, they're like, what kind of beer would you like? Would you like an IPA? Would you like a regular
Stout?
lager? Would you like a
Yes.
Harvest Wheat? Would you like an autumnal brew?
100%.
Would you like a
That
pumpkin?
is too
And then
funny.
you're like, what do you have? Can I have a vodka soda? And they're like, we have Smirnoff. That's what we have.
That's it. That's what you get. Oh my God. Vodka sodas and WeHo. That's like,
You're
I
dead.
can't wait for the
You're
next
dead after 5.
delivery. Dead.
All
right. Oh my God. So
Wait,
our-
I have a couple
you have-
more questions that I think are important. Do you
all right,
mind?
hurry up and do them.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Brad, do you know who Jean Dio and Bruno Lenoir were?
No.
They were the last people in France punished and killed for homosexuality.
Really?
They were the last people in France known to be executed, like officially, for
Right.
homosexuality. Yeah. And this was in 1750.
Wow.
Yeah, France has been super gay for a long time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Late at night on January 4th, 1750, a city watchman happened upon 2 men engaged in sex on some street that I can't pronounce, Rue something. The men were Jean Dio, 40. who
Rue
worked
means
at-
street, so you're halfway there.
Rue means street, so street, yeah. Jean Dio worked in a charcuterie close to the street, and Bruno Lenoir, 23, a cordwainer in the neighborhood.
It's a cordwainer.
That's my question.
Oh,
Brad,
shit.
what's a cordwainer? I'll give you A, B, and C.
Okay.
Is it A, a person who makes ropes, B, a shoemaker, or C, you know what it is.
Let's just say prostitutes. See, you know what it is.
No, that's
Is it-
incorrect. Lindsay, do you want to steal?
A.
No, it's not a person who makes ropes. It's a shoemaker.
Really?
Cordwainer. It's like specifically leather, I think. So yeah, they were the last people known to undergo capital punishment in France for the crime of homosexuality. It was like really... It was actually like kind of at a time where it was starting to be less stigmatized. However, like for some reason, like they needed to make a...
There's always going to be a last.
And
There's always
they
a
were
first,
low
there's always a
class,
last.
so it didn't
Right.
no one could
Right.
save them.
Right. That was
And then
always
my
the big
last
controversy
question.
about... Oh, yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yeah,
I was going to say that was always the big controversy about Oscar Wilde, is the fact that he chose to stay and stand trial in his own country when everyone said, just go to France, Ireland won't follow you.
Mm.
And you're so beloved, like, but you just can't stay here because you broke the law. And because of that, he eventually died because of, the injuries
Wow.
he sustained in jail. But the big deal was you were actually putting, like, you didn't put famous people on trial for buggery.
Right.
For
Right,
homosexuality by that point, and he was like, no, I'll
Right.
stand trial. I'm a homo. Suck it up.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, so noble of him.
I know.
Horrible. And I probably would not have made the same choice, but
No,
good for him
I would have been
in
like,
a way,
again, bye.
Bye.
Hi, Fran. Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, France is great.
Wow.
So, yeah, which leads me to my next question. Lindsay, France ended the criminalization of sex between any consenting adults in 1791. 1791. After that, nobody could be arrested for being gay. When did America
Ugh.
end the criminalization of sex between consenting adults? Is it A? I'll give you. Okay. Is it A, 1969,
Okay.
B, 1995,
Okay.
or C, 2003?
Ah, 2003.
Yeah.
Ah.
Because states'
Yep.
rights.
France,
Because for us, it's
1791.
states' rights.
Because it's states' rights.
Yeah,
And then it
that's
was a
the problem in
federal
America.
case in 2003.
Ah.
I mean, in fairness, in America, it wasn't illegal anymore. In most places, a gay person would choose to live. But
Right.
God
The
help
law
you
is
if
still
you
in
want.
the book.
Yeah, God help it if you wanted to be a gay farmer in Arkansas, you were screwed.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So that's the historic horrors of gay parade.
Wow. Makes me want to go to Paris and be a whore.
Yay!
Right.
We're halfway there.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay, well, Marsha just came in. She tallied up the points.
Marsha.
Uh, Brad is sweeping this game.
Am I?
He has 12 points.
Do I?
Okay.
Wait, so
I
if we
sucked in the
combined our
beginning.
points, how many do we have though?
We have 5, 6, 7, only 8. So,
Oh, we suck.
And I got a
Brad?
Stevie Nicks question wrong. God.
I know, but that's
And you'll
okay.
never-
You
you'll
learn.
See,
never
but that's the
forget.
only thing I'll take away from this. I'll be so upset
And
because I got
your
that
friends, your friend in Chicago,
Exactly.
what's his name? Yeah,
Bro,
he'll never let you live it down.
wrong. Yo, he's literally going to be like, you got a fucking question about fucking, the car wrong.
Yeah.
You idiot.
He's like, you're out of this club.
I love
Oh, that's it.
Well,
We're not friends anymore.
Brad, you wrote us a game, right?
I did. Because
How
it's
many
Gay
questions?
Pride Month. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Well, hey, I have a suggestion.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Do you want to use this as bonus?
I think we could use it as bonus content, as like if we do like a extra, for another episode.
Okay.
We just have to not reference it after we do it.
Okay. So here's what we're gonna do.
Gotcha.
We're gonna wrap up with the points we have now.
Let's do it
Right.
separate.
and then we'll do a separate
We'll
little
keep
Fabulous.
game.
it. We can keep
You
it
got
on
it.
the same. We can keep recording.
Okay.
But let's just
All right,
keep it
cool.
as
Right,
separate.
do it
so
as-
we'll wrap up
gotcha.
this game and then we'll.
Okay,
Yeah.
so those of you on the YouTube live watching, you just saw behind the scenes. All right. So, Marcia just tallied up the points. I'm the loser with 3 points.
You're turning into
I
me.
turned into Kelly Wallace Arnold.
You need a healing.
Kelly,
Yes.
I need a healing.
Yeah.
You are just ahead of me with 5.
That's 2 ahead. That's not
but
just ahead.
you broke your
I broke my losing streak. Yeah, I feel good.
Brad, you are our winner with 12 fucking huge points.
I've always been a pain in the ass know-it-all, and I still am.
This is no different.
I'm really proud
Love
of
it.
you. I'm happy that you won. And as our winner on Fuck You, I'm Smarter, you get to not only look us in the eye and say, fuck you, I'm smarter, but you also get to make a valedictorian speech. And this is
Yes.
your time to shine, baby. Go ahead.
All right. Well, first of all, let me start my speech by saying, fuck you, I'm smarter. And to everyone
thank
out
you.
there watching this speech, know that I didn't just get here by watching endless, useless documentaries on Amazon Prime when I'm hungover. It also took night after night of binge drinking, drug use, and dangerous sex with strangers in order to acquire the knowledge I have today at 43 years young. So I encourage you to save the $100,000 your parents were going to waste on you going and getting a liberal arts degree and use that money for hookers, drugs, and traveling the world. You'll learn more and you'll still end up right where I am today.
Yes!
Beautiful!
That was amazing!
That was hilarious, inspiring, and true.
And
like,
so
yeah,
true.
I really.
Like,
Wow.
I'm still paying my student loans.
Right,
Wow.
right,
You can
right.
really
you
credit
can
those-
you can get to where we all are right now without running up $100,000 in debt. It's possible.
And probably have a lot more fun.
Oh
Right,
my God.
exactly.
Brad, thank you
Genius.
so much for doing our show. This was so much fun.
Thank you for having me. This was super fun. I'm just so
Oh my
happy
God,
I
thank
didn't
you
fail.
so much.
No,
No, you
did amazing.
won. Oh, let's plug your plugs. Where can we find you?
Oh, sure. My latest comedy special is out right now on Amazon Prime. It's called Brash Boys Club. You can rent it or buy it on Amazon Prime. You can pick up my memoir of crazy stories of my life and of the road called My Big Gay Life. Also available on Amazon. Do I have anything else to plug? Oh, I have dates coming up in Palm Springs in July. Santa Monica in 2 weeks. I'm updating all my social media, and in August I'll be at World Bear Pride in Memphis, Tennessee, and I'll be at the anniversary of Bears, Bikers, and Mayhem in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. So I'm getting back out on
Oh
the
my
road.
God, amazing. This is coming out in a couple of weeks, so you might be
Perfect.
doing your show so we'll maybe
Perfect.
we can
August. Everyone come start seeing me again.
August. Yes.
Amazing.
All right. You can follow Kelly and Lindsey at Kelly and Lindsey on Instagram. We're on YouTube Live now. You can watch this
We're on
episode
YouTube Live right now.
Right now. But you're not. But you should be.
No, but you will be.
We love you.
Next time.
Anything else, Kelly Belly?
Happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride Month.
Yes, have fun, be safe,
And
drink
just-
a lot of vodka sodas.
At a gay bar. Yes, support
Amen.
your locally owned
Yes, they
Yes.
need you.
restaurants, shops,
Yes.
like
Support
just be
businesses.
super
Support small
Yes,
businesses.
support LBGT owned small businesses.
Brad, this was a blast. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Yay.
Okay,
All
cool.
right. That was so fun.
That was amazing.
That was great.
Love
Thank you.
that.
I'm really
Yeah,
shocked
thank you
I
for
did
doing
anywhere
it.
near as well as I could.
No, it was great. You're very smart. I mean, you make
are
me want to
smart.
watch more documentaries about czars and things.
Yeah, you have to come and school us again on your...
When you're
beautiful,
hungover, Amazon Prime is really good for it because all of the voices on the documentaries are the level of voice you need when you're hungover. Like they're all kind of
right. It's the right
NPR. They're all kind of NPR tones. And because those
and you
times
can't really
were so
think.
right.
So you're just sort of taking in information.
You just kind of absorb it. It
like,
sticks in the back of your head that so and so did this crazy sexual thing in 1742. Like it just all sticks in your brain. Yeah.
Oh my God, amazing. So maybe we'll just do this as like a special Pride. Like a little special Pride Shanana bonus.
Yeah, Shanana boner.
All right, great. So we'll just do like a quick intro in
great.
honor of Pride Month, and then you take the lead, baby.
Okay. You got it.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, it's Pride Month!
Woo!
I can't wait to go to Akbar and dance my face off!
And drink those disgusting vodka sodas.
Go up in the bathroom, and then you just like crawl home and throw up again.
Have you thrown up there?
At Akbar, no.
What was the last bar you threw up at?
Oh.
Wait, Brad. Okay, so we have
probably therapy where Brad used to work.
So we have Brad Loekle.
Now that's
He's
what
gonna
my show
do a
did
game.
to you. You were like one gay bar vodka soda, and that asshole talking about dick jokes was just enough to put you over the edge.
No, I don't think I've puked at a bar in a really long time.
I haven't in a long time. I save it for home.
Well, maybe Pride Month
like a lady.
Pandemic is the time.
Yeah, maybe it's time to get back to our roots.
I haven't even puked in my new apartment that I've had for a year.
Honey.
I know, I need
now,
to get
yeah, we need to go out.
I've puked at my boyfriend's house. I've been puked at this apartment. I need to puke
don't puke here.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
In honor of Pride Month, Brad has written us a lovely quiz that we can't wait to take. We're going to let you just take it away.
Take it away, Teach.
Okay. Are you going to, can you keep, who is it? Martha? Keep track of the score? Marsha. Sorry, Marsha.
Yes.
Can Marsha keep track of the score?
Yeah.
Okay, who wants to go?
Yes.
Okay, who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay. Liz Taylor was probably the LGBTQ plus community's greatest ally during the early decades of the AIDS pandemic. She even ran an illegal network that helped acquire experimental and expensive AIDS meds for patients without access to them from their own doctors. She was also she actually did. She ran like a Dallas Buyers Club for AIDS meds out of her house in Malibu. She was also legendary for her marriages. Aside from her maiden name, Taylor, can you name at least 3 of her married last names?
No, but I can tell you maybe Burton.
Burton is one.
That's
the only one I know.
Okay, so that you get a point for Burton. You get a point for Burton. She also married Richard Burton twice. So, but I don't count the name twice. She married him twice. Her full name, including her full married name would be Elizabeth Taylor Hilton Wilding Todd Fisher Burton Warner Fortensky.
Oh my God, it's the new supercalifragilistic.
That's the name I stay under at hotels when I don't want people to know.
Amazing. I love
it. You imagine.
Hello,
Mr. Hilton, Wyling, Todd, Fisher, Burton, Warner, Fortensky. Your pizza delivery's here. All right, next question.
Okay.
I once had a man give me a rim job in the bathroom of this landmark gay bar in New York City, which became part of the civil rights history one June night in 1969. Mm-hmm. What is the name of that bar?
Oh my God, it's been so long since I've been there. It's It's on Stonewall.
Yes! Stonewall. Stonewall
Woo!
in. Stonewall
That
in.
took me way too long. I need a
It's
New
okay.
York trip.
You need a New York
stat.
trip.
All right.
I'm proud of you though for the rim job there.
Yeah, good for
that's
you.
monumental.
I didn't go into the bathroom with that intention. I just went in to do a bump, but he decided, never look a rim job in the mouth. I mean, never, just let it.
Incredible.
Once I said that out loud, it didn't sound right, but in my head, you know what I mean.
I
No,
know.
it makes sense. We understood. We
understood
support. And
All right.
yeah, we're all about it.
This one might be a little bit harder. In 1956, this groundbreaking gay Black author released his novel Giovanni's Room, which focused both on homosexual and bisexual relationships. What is the name of the author?
Oh.
Wow.
His name. His name.
His name.
There was a documentary released a couple of years ago on him on Netflix called I Am Not Your Negro, if you saw that.
Oh.
I didn't see it yet.
Well, now we have to watch
name.
that.
I don't know.
This is like high school when you're like giving the answer to the question. You're like, the answer to that question.
That question.
That you just
if you think about
me
it, and let me just go
is
back and
actually
like
a question that goes back to something earlier
Right.
in an answer that I gave once. His name is James Baldwin.
Mm-hmm.
James Baldwin.
I knew that.
Thank you.
That's,
now I didn't know we were going to
his
French
face.
Whores. Yeah, you can see his face and like hear his voice.
I
didn't know we were.
couldn't remember his name.
I didn't know we were going to have a French horse section, but this kind of falls into that category. So there's a question in that room too. The hit American comedy film, The Birdcage, starring Robin Williams and Nathan Lane, is based on a famous French series of films. What is the name of the French films that The Birdcage is based on?
I thought it was Le Cage aux Folles. Like
it is.
That was
correct.
Okay.
Correct. That is
She
correct.
speaks French.
You see?
Well, I like musical theater, so.
And yeah, it was
knew
made
it.
into a musical. There was films first, and then a musical in the early 80s on Broadway, and then they made the movie The Birdcage.
I actually saw that musical on Broadway, and I could be wrong, but I think it was the guy that was in
The Nanny. The Butler and the Nanny.
No, I think it was Kelsey Grammer.
Oh, he did fill in for a while in that. He did fill in for a while in that.
And I think it was Norbert
He raped his
Leo
nanny.
Butts.
Oh, maybe.
And it was incredible.
I remember the revival that you would have seen because we were in New York abruptly, and they haven't revived it that many times. And like where the girl, where the Cagelles, the drag queens, like vault over the orchestra and land in splits and stuff like that.
Incredible.
Yeah, it was so good. Such a good musical. All right, final question. What is the surname of the sisters Lana and Lily, perhaps best known for writing and directing The Matrix and its two sequels, who were the first two openly transgender major Hollywood film directors?
Yes, I know that.
What is their last name?
I have no idea. I'm not good with names.
My boyfriend got to work with one on The Matrix.
Oh.
And he...
Lana and Lily.
Now, they didn't officially come out publicly in transition until later.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they were out because it was one of the last Matrix.
Yes. One sister came out first and then another waited a few years. But yeah, I believe
What was their male names?
I honestly don't remember.
And clues.
I don't remember.
We're not supposed to use their mail names. And also, I don't even know.
Yeah.
Even if you go to their Wikipedia page, I don't even think it says it.
What's the last
they
name?
erased
I don't
it.
know.
Starts with a W. I'll give you that much of a hint.
William.
And see now, and now boyfriends and all your straight male friends are going to be so mad you don't know it because to them this
I'm
isn't like
so
a trans
mad.
question. This is like a
I
matrix
know.
question.
I'm so mad. Oh my god. I can't think of it.
Wachowski.
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 The Wachowski
They were the
sisters.
Wachowski brothers publicly when the
Right.
film
Yes.
series started, and the Wachowski sisters when the series. And they're making actually more of them, I think.
Amazing.
Yeah. So those are the
Yeah,
five.
they're
So
making.
yeah.
Great.
Well, I got more than Kelly, so Lindsey is the winner
Boo.
of this game
Boo,
quiz
boo, boo.
with 2 points. And Kelly, I'm sorry.
You're the least gay one here.
I know.
But I now
Oh,
christen you for this Pride Month. You're now an honorary. Let's just say bisexual. We'll leave you right in the
Thank
middle
you
because you got those
so-
questions.
Thank you so much. I mean, I have always been curious to have a woman lick my vagina, but I just don't want to do that back, and I don't want to be a selfish lover. So,
Wow, that's a lot.
Wow.
yeah.
That's a lot of layers to that.
Yeah.
That's a whole
Yeah.
lot- yeah.
We
Yeah,
just
like,
that's
anyone could go down on me, but I don't know if I want to go down on anyone. Do you know what I mean?
so you kind of are like a straight man. Gotcha.
Yes,
Gotcha.
Yes!
Kind
that's
of.
exactly right.
I'm
Oh,
gonna
we
take
found
that
out Lindsay's true
bisexuality back and say
sexuality.
you're every straight guy I went to high school with. You can
Yes!
go down on me, bro. You can totally go down on me, but
Exactly.
like I don't want to touch your dick.
I don't want to touch you. I don't care about
No,
you.
no.
I don't care about your
100%.
needs.
I am the frattiest one in
That's
this game.
probably true. You're
Yeah.
you're the frattiest and the broiest.
Brad, thank you so much for writing this game for us.
Yeah,
Happy Pride. We hope
thank
we
Thank
see
you so much for
out this
having me
Pride.
for fun. Thank
And
you
we
so
hope
much.
to see you perform soon.
Same.
Yes.
Let's all get
I
back
hope
out
so.
there. Let's all get back
Yeah.
out there.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
Take care. Bye. Love
Well,
you.
Bye.
Oh wait.
Brad,
Oh sorry.
I'm going.
Oh.
Do you know Billy Francesca?
Was that the end of
I
the
do know
Okay.
Billy
Okay.
Francesca.
Yeah.
He's hosting something tomorrow night at 39 Taps.
Okay.
If you would want to join and hang, I'm gonna go with some friends. If you.
Oh,
are
okay.
interested.
I haven't even looked at what I'm doing tomorrow. I'm at what time is it like starting?
I think it's at 9.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that can probably.
But it's some sort of event that he's hosting. It's some sort of a game, and it's a Pride themed something.
Oh,
So I'm
great.
gonna go
So
with
at
some
39
friends.
Taps?
If I
at
find out
9.
more information, I'll send it.
Yeah,
to you.
just send it. Yeah, just send it to me because I haven't been out all week, so I'm getting a little itchy to go out. But it's
I'll
just been
send
a
it
crazy.
to you.
It's just been a crazy week because a show I wrote in London just opened, so I'm still also on London time.
What was
Oh my
What
god.
was the show?
I wrote for Alyssa Edwards, who's a drag race, one of the